Kyle Lowry is considered by many NBA fans' perspective to be the greatest Raptor of all time, and when you look at his resume, it's astonishing. 6-time All Star, led the team throughout many years, was a third-team All-NBA one season, and inevitably won a championship next to Kawhi Leonard and Pascal Siakam, and was the guy who was through the thick and thin of it. He was there during the LeBronto era, he was there during the Kawhi Leonard era, and he exists beyond that. Throughout the 2020 season, he led the Toronto Raptors to a tough second-round exit against the Boston Celtics, and is currently with the Raptors right now as one of the older players in the NBA, but still is shown to be an all-star caliber player. But how did Kyle Lowry get there? He wasn't always this good, and early on in his career, he was considered uncoachable. We're going to talk about Kyle Lowry's path from the NBA circles of being considered uncoachable to Perrenial All Star. Lowry's NBA career started out with promise. He was the 24th overall pick in 2006, and he landed on a Memphis Grizzlies team coached by Mike Fratello, who was faced with the task of harnessing Kyle Lowry's potential. The two had an ideal working relationship. The coach loved the passion Lowry showed and had no interest in changing the way he played. Lowry, in turn, looked for every opportunity to show his appreciation. If someone gives you the key to their car for the weekend, you don't want to be in a situation to say, "Ah, shit, I brought it back wrecked." You want to bring it back nice and clean. Maybe you put some gas in it. That's how I've always been. If you give me something, I want to be able to give it back and more. This is the kind of person Kyle Lowry was, and 10 games into his rookie season, unfortunately, he broke his left wrist and was forced to sit out the rest of the year. And just 20 games later, he could only watch as Fratello was replaced by Mark Laverani. When Lowry got healthy, he often clashed with his new coach, who benched him in favor of rookie Mike Conley. In his third season, he was traded to Houston, and Lowry again found a coach who supported him. But Rick Adelman soon left the team amid a contract dispute, and Kevin McHale, who replaced Adelman, never saw eye to eye with Kyle Lowry, and the guard again found himself on the bench, this time backing up Goran Dragic. Another opportunity for a fresh start came ahead of the 2012-13 season, when Lowry was moved to Toronto, where he suited up alongside his son's godfather Rudy Gay. But fewer than 20 games into the season, Rudy Gay was dealt just 20 games into their second season together, and in that same month, Lowry's name was in constant trade talks, and about midway through December of 2013, he was nearly sent to the New York Knicks in a deal that reportedly nixed at the last minute by New York. That really shook him, but he came out realizing that he had it pretty good in Toronto. He came out of it like it seemed he always does, in a better position. The first step was to meet DeRozan for a candid chat about their future in Toronto. "We were going to win," Lowry says. "That's all we talked about, winning. Whether it was together here in Toronto or individually elsewhere, we were going to win." Next, he had to improve his relationship with head coach Dwayne Casey, whose idea of what a point guard should be didn't mesh with Lowry's on-court style. "The two of us learned to adapt to each other," Lowry says. "We're always going to have disagreements, but there's a mutual respect." Since that near trade, the Raptors have the most total wins in the Eastern Conference in the 2013 season. All of the goodwill that had been built up between the two was for naught when, last May, the Raptors fired Dwayne Casey a few years back. This was obviously back in the 2018 season. And just a few weeks before he was named the NBA's Coach of the Year, what came next was even more shocking. DeMar DeRozan was traded and dealt to the San Antonio Spurs. At the time, this deal really did upset Kyle Lowry, who was largely out of contract with the team during the rest of the offseason. With new teammate Kawhi Leonard joining the team, no Raptor had to alter their role more than Kyle Lowry. Suddenly there, with a new sun, he and his teammates would have to orbit around. Soon enough, it was clear that With Kawhi Leonard on the team, Lowry had a better chance than ever to win a championship, and he embraced Kawhi Leonard and formed a new friendship. Through this, Lowry has learned to appreciate what it took to reach his goals. He says, as you get older, you begin to understand the responsibilities you have. If you want to be the guy your responsibilities change, you have to be front and center. Empowered by trust of his coaches and teammates, and by an unprecedented amount of love from Toronto's fan base, he's found a new comfort level. Now he's free to focus on the only goal he ever really cared about. I think about LeBron's slogan, strive for greatness. That's really what it's about, says Lowry. I want to be a great player, to win championships. I want to be great. Kyle Lowry would go on to win the first ever title in Toronto Raptors franchise history, 24 years in the making. He would solidify himself as a Hall of Fame candidate player, and everything he accomplishes now is just gravy on top of that. And for Raptor fans, they got a player that they can cheer with, support, and always be a fan of because of what he brought to the city, the community, and all the effort he put on the court. He's a guy that puts 110% in. He's the heart of your team, and more importantly, when things get rough, he's a steady hand you can rely on. He hasn't always had the best playoff resume, especially in years past, but over the 2019 playoffs, he really proved that he can be an integral part of a championship team, which is why now in 2021, he's more than a player that people want to acquire, and teams are really looking at him with the opportunity to take them over the top, and that's what he can do.